This is the story of Stickman. Stickman was a stickman, but he was very skinny. The rest of his family was fat. But why was Stickman different? Well, Stickman is made out of a protein that makes him skinny called the skinny protein. And the first step of making this skinny protein in his body is transcription. The first step is initiation. RNA polymerase latches onto a start codon called the promoter on Stickman's DNA. Step 2 is elongation. It's where the RNA polymerase gets around the part where it wants to start coding after the promoter and starts producing the mRNA. It uses the antisense strand or the template strand as the blueprint or as the master plan, and this is the strand that's complementary to the antisense strand, which is called the sense strand. After that, step 3 is termination. After the RNA polymerase is done coding the part it wants to for the mRNA, it reaches a thing called the terminator, which stops the process of mRNA being created and made premature mRNA. Editing the mRNA. Step 1 is to cut out the introns. Before it can leave the nucleus, you need to edit it because it has these things that called introns you don't want to code for. Exons are things that code for something. See right here. And introns are pretty much random nitrogenous bases in the middle of the exons right here, 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 and here. So you just want to cut those out. Step 2 is splice exons. So you just splice the exons together and they make the full mRNA. Step 3 is add cap and tail. You add a cap to the front and then you add a poly A tail to the back. So because there's a enzyme in the cytoplasm when it leaves the nucleus that starts eating the back of the mRNA. So if you have this, it's pretty much a buffer before it starts eating the codons and screwing up the protein. And now the mRNA leaves the nucleus through something called the nuclear pore. And it's now mature mRNA. This is the mature mRNA for the skinny protein. Here's the cap, AUG, which is the start codon. Every protein starts with that. Here are the codons that code for amino acids. Here's the stop codon that doesn't stop for anything, or code for anything, and can be coded or can be switched out for UA and UAG besides UGA. And here's the poly A tail. The second step of skinny protein synthesis is translation. Step 1. Well, there's an enzyme called the ribosome, and it latches onto the mRNA right here. And this side is the P site, and this side is the A site. Now, RNA called tRNA, or transfer RNA, comes to the ribosome, and it brings amino acids with them. And they match up with codons that are in the ribosome with anti-codons. And the first, the start codon AUG, or AUG, will always code for MET. And then here's the CCCC, which is an A part. tRNA will come in, and with GGG is the stop, so this will bring this amino acid, and the peptide bond is formed between these two amino acids. Step 2 is pretty much like elongation. The ribosome clicks down one codon, and the amino acids from AUG is linked to the tRNA from CCC right here, and then this links to another one, and then this tRNA will go away, and it'll have these two linked to this one. And it just keeps going until it reaches the stop codon, which makes the release factor and has the ribosome detached from the from the mRNA, and the skinny protein is complete. Why is Stickman different, though? Well, this is the rest of his family's DNA for fat proteins, and this is his DNA for the skinny protein, and this is called a mutation of why he's different. It's a point mutation called substitution, because it only happens on one point of the DNA. See, right here, there's a G instead of, so it's CCG, but on Stickman's, it's CCC, which caused a mutation, and that changes it from him from being fat to skinny. But I really don't know why he's complaining, because why would he want to be fat? So, that is why Stickman is skinny. The end.